Hello, hello. Happy afternoon. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone is having a great start to the week. Getting ready for the holiday seasons. I know in the lounge last week we were talking a lot about what are people doing and how do you work your team and scheduling them out and stuff. And so the time has come, it's coming near. But we have a fantastic spotlight series for today. I'm so excited. But just a few announcements before we get into that. So, you might notice my background a little bit. We got Zyra Talk on here because Zyra Talk has been a fantastic partner and a fantastic sponsor of Lady Titans. And so we just want to kind of show them off, but they turn missed calls into revenue opportunities. Their AI CSR works 24/7 to book jobs, reschedule appointments, and answer questions. And so we are so excited to have Zyra Talk. And even in the lounge last week, people were talking about how Zyra Talk was helping their company. So if you are needing call center help, AI call center help, definitely look at Zyra Talk. Give them a shout, see how they might can help you and your company. They've been fantastic partners for us. So excited to shout them out. And then we are also looking for some host in the lounge, someone that might would be willing to kind of facilitate. So if you've been on the lounge, you might have seen me doing it, but like y'all don't need to see me the whole time. So we would love to have some more people that might be willing to engage and help guide some conversations and things like that. So if you are interested, please fill out a little poll here that I'm dropping down in the chat. We would love to connect with you and just see, because everyone has different perspectives, can guide different conversations. And so we would love to include more of you guys to do some of that. So if you're interested, fill out that form below. We'd really appreciate it. And then we can talk and connect about next steps. But those are some of my announcements. So excited that you're here because you are in for a treat. So we have Roslyn Fitzgibbons, and she is from Eco Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical out of Ohio. And she has 18 years of experience collaborating on and executing strategies to build a multi-trade home service business from $0 to 95 million. She's the recipient of the BBB Torch for Ethics, Top Place to Work, and a place on the Inc. 5000 list. She is passionate about helping to empower individuals and guide their teams to their full potential. And so today, her topic is titled The HR Department of One. I know something that's super integral to what a lot of people are dealing with here on this call. And even last week on the lounge just got brought up. So she's going to talk about how a small but mighty team can build a powerful recruiting funnel that attracts, hires, and retains top talent in the trades. So today we're going to talk about how she scaled their plumbing, HVAC, and electrical company by getting creative with recruitment, embracing automation, and mastering the art of wearing many hats, something we all know how to do, but proving that you don't need a big HR team to make a big impact. So please help me in welcoming Roslyn. Roslyn, I'm going to turn it over to you. We're so excited to have you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hello, Lady Titans. I'm thrilled to be here. I want to give a quick thank you for Angie Snow for connecting me with Emily and getting me involved. And really, I'm looking forward. I'm passionate about this topic and can't wait to speak on it. So, without further ado, I'm going to get my screen up here quickly. If you give me just a second, make sure everybody can see that here. All right. And then I just want to make sure I can still see the chat and get that pulled up. All right, we're good to go. All right, so I got a little bit of an introduction from Emily, and thank you. So why this lady? As she already mentioned, I've got that 18 years of experience. Most of you probably don't know who I am or have ever heard of me, and that's because I've spent a lot of time behind the scenes just building this company with my brother. His name is Aaron Gaynor. You may have heard of him or seen him in the industry. He's out and about far more than I am, doing tons of podcasts and being involved in a lot of different things. So I have a background in Lean Six Sigma, as well as operational improvement and project management. Emily and I were just chatting away about EOS. I am a huge fan of EOS, always an advocate, go EOS. We'll chat about that all day long with anybody. Some of my personal skills, I spent a lot of time being culture centric, As the human resources manager, that's a big priority for me, building great teams and being a creative problem solver. Some quick fun facts about who I am. I am on the color code. If you're familiar with it, I'm blue red. So right down the middle, tough, right? Like split personalities. I'm a CD and I am Enneagram 1. I'm the strict perfectionist. So no shocker there. If you know me or have seen any of my work, I take it pretty seriously, and I'm thrilled to be here today and show you guys how I put some of that Lean Six Sigma practice into work when it came to our recruiting funnel. All right. Here. A couple quick things on what I'm the proudest of accomplishing in my career at ECO is the university. So I did co-found the ECO Plumbers Trade School, helping build careers and skills for a lifetime. So again, another topic that I am passionate about. So reach out to me if you want to chit chat. If you've been dabbling in the idea of starting a school, you won't regret it. Giving this back and having your students graduate is probably the most rewarding thing. Challenging and fun is acquisitions and greenfields when you start dabbling in flipping other companies and acquiring them. Oh boy, is it stressful, but the reward at the end is incredible. Bringing those individuals onto your team and letting them know that they're in a good place and they're with a good company is extremely rewarding as well. All right. So I like to say that my entire life led to the moment when she said, "This is the life I want." And she never again wasted time on anything that wasn't that. Why? Because after 18 years of building a brand for my brother and I'm really excited about getting out and offering what I have to share to others. And that's why I'm here today to say, hey, I've got some information that I think could help, and I want to be out there and helping others. So happy to help again. Reach out to me if you have any additional questions after this. All right. Emily gave you the brief overview of our agenda. We're going to talk about how to make your recruiting process work for you, creating alignment. Don't read a single resume. It's my favorite part of all of this. That's what I'm bringing for you today. Get their skin in the game, shop tours and virtual, and then sharing the vision and recruit to reality. And ultimately what this does is it creates this funnel that will have people vet themselves out and save you a lot of time. All right, so it all starts with the staffing huddle. And what you want to do is create a weekly meeting. I guess depending on your size, maybe monthly would work. Ours had to be weekly. We had quite a few trade lines and quite a few managers and a lot of requisitions that were open. So for us, we did it weekly on Fridays to recap the end of the day and go into the following week. A lot of the feedback that we would get as we grew was that people were just losing communication with what's happening with my hires, how many people are actually applying, what do my interviews look like? And so in order to improve communication, we got together to stay aligned on the budget, the projections, attrition, and any of the pipeline hires and interviewing that was happening. All the hiring managers are to attend with or without active postings. And so you say, well, why do they have to be there? Or they might say, why do I have to be there if I'm not hiring anybody? Because ultimately we know that every position inside the trades pretty much impacts another one. And so if a decision is being made to hire, additional maintenance technicians or add additional staff in an area, or suddenly you're adding 2 to 4 technicians, and then your dispatch manager says, well, wait, I don't have the plan in my staffing model for another dispatcher, but when are you expecting those to go live? Because we're at max capacity and we might need to shift around. And so again, everybody being there to hear what's going on so that the staffing can stay aligned with what your projections are and your staffing model for best practices. And then have a solid agenda and keep it consistent you don't need more than 30 or 45 minutes. When you get really good at it and you're just running right through every topic that needs to be covered, you can hit it pretty quickly and move on. We would always start with, hey, these are all the open recs. How long has the job been posted for? What type of traction? How many are we getting on it? How many people are applying? And then you kind of move through your list. Going through like, what interviews do you have? Did they interview? What's the follow-up look like? So I can, share a good agenda for that. But again, 30 to 45 minutes and create alignment. It's definitely worth having the conversation, whether it's in person or virtual. Get those hiring managers onto a call. All right, your ATS, applicant tracking system. So if an ATS is not available inside your human resources software, this type of system can be built in Google, Airtable, or Monday.com very successfully. So when we first started, ours was all in Monday. Everything was built inside there. We were linked to Calendly, all types of stuff. And before we moved over to a larger ATS human resources software that had an integrated ATS, we were completely fine with running it separately. We did not need additional software. So if you have something that already exists, Trello or any one of those that you can build something inside of that is helping you just track and manage individuals, by all means, save yourself the extra money while you can, and build something that works in there. So do a lot of the upfront work to automate as much as you possibly can. I know it's tough to stop and do yourself those future favors when you're in the thick of it, but take that time to say, how can I make this system automatically send back that email? How can I make this automatically send this link? Where can I funnel them through this pipeline automatically, or have it remove them when I say they're canceled, or things like that. So take that time to really do yourself those future favors. You're going to be able to post as many roles as you want with no fear. I know that's a big one. Sometimes you want to limit how many you have out there. Maybe it's budget wise as well. How much can you afford to put, what's your spend on each one of those? You might have to pull some down when you're putting others up. Totally understandable. But when you have the system in place that you're funneling everyone through, you can get it a lot more rolls up without feeling overwhelmed. And why? Because you're going to respond to every single person. It sounds scary. Stay with me. I'm going to get there. But you're not going to read a single resume. You're going to do zero phone screening. You're going to have no back and forth. You're not going to be ghosted at the interview time. And this is going to sound morbid, but it's all because my grandfather passed away in 2017, and we decided that there had to be a better way. And I'm going to explain that to you. So in 2017, unfortunately, we lost my grandfather. My brother and I were headed out to the funeral in Virginia. So we had about a 7-8 hour drive. I say, hey, you're going to drive because I've got resumes to read. I got call center people. I'm going through all these applicants. And he's like, all right. And, we obviously get to chit chat, and we've got a long car ride. And of course, all we talk about is work. So I'm scrolling away, reading resumes, trying to hit respond. I'm like, I'm burnt. I've got so many people coming in right now. I'm getting really tired of everybody like not showing up to the interviews. The back and forth is just terrible. I mean, I walk to that front door every hour on the hour to interview somebody, and they're not there. And I even confirmed, I sent emails, and people just aren't showing up. I don't know what's going on right now. People just don't want a job, right? And here we are just chatting away about it. And we're like, there's got to be an easier way. There's got to be an easier way to do this. And the realization that, how do we get to all of them in bulk? How do we get this? Everybody comes, everybody, like group interview. We'll just like interview them all at once. What does that look like? And at first, I'm like, that sounds terrible. Nobody's going to want to do that. Nobody's going to show up to a group interview. It's just, we're going to be scaring people off. I can't even get people to show up for their own interview time, let alone with a room full of people. Anyway, stay with me because it got really good. And it is how we were able to hire tons of people. And I was in HR department of one. I was the only recruiter and the only person in HR. And I was wearing all the hats. And we pulled this off. When we came back from the funeral, we got right to work on it. We're like, this is what we're doing. We're just going to try it. We've got to try. So, all right. So I'm going to dig into how we developed this. So we created a consistent role description template. And then you're going to track all those job titles in a spreadsheet and then link those role descriptions to each one. So you just want to do yourself, again, those favors where the template looks the exact same. All of the information is the same. You can update it quickly, and then you're not looking for them in the drive. You're not looking for what you remembered that you named it, all that type of stuff. Make a spreadsheet and just link each one of those in there, okay? And then make sure you keep all the up-to-date postings on your website as well. So if you, in case people are going to multiple places, if you are wearing that marketing hat as well, I wouldn't be surprised. Hats off to you. It's a tough one to be in. But if you are and you're in charge of the website, make sure your roles are getting in there, or you're communicating with marketing that when they're coming up and they're coming down, you might even want to add them to your staffing meeting that you're having every week so that marketing is staying aligned with roles that you are opening as well. And then most importantly, lesson I learned later on was make an email box that's just for recruiting. And for a while I was, email Roslyn at, at Eco Plumbers, email Roslyn. And then when I hired my recruiter, I was kind of like, oh, shoot, I'm the one that's like getting all this stuff. And how do I transfer that over? And so we were like, well, we should have this join the trades email. And then no matter who is helping recruiting, no matter if somebody comes and goes, which we did. I mean, a few recruiters later, it was easy to just plug and play and be like, hey, jump in this email box if anybody had to fill in why somebody was gone. So do yourself that favor and get a inclusive box just for your recruiting. All right, so you've created those consistent jobs, you're keeping track of where they're posted, and then you're going to start your funnel. So you've got them out there wherever you put jobs. We were big on, LinkedIn. Indeed was a big one for us. If recruiter, doesn't matter. Anywhere they are, they all have the same link that funnels into that email. All the applicants are responded to immediately. So the first thing I did in the morning, first thing my recruiter did, wake up, email box, you're in, just hit respond to every single one of them. If your system allows you to do an automated email, even better, kick it right back to them right away. Otherwise, super simple. You can create a canned email. You're all probably familiar with that inside Google. So create that canned email, save it as a template, and you can really quick just go through, respond, and put your template in there. Inside this email is a link for them to sign up for an in-person tour date or a virtual session. And I'll give you the quick backstory on that. We did everything in person. Virtual wasn't even a thing, right? This is 2017, right? Come to us. Come see me. I'm going to come walk you around the whole building, show you everything. 2020, there was no come see everything and walk around. And so the quick pivot was virtual tours. And so now you were going to come and learn about us in the best way we could through a slide deck and create that experience. So, but once all those restrictions lifted, we then decided to go back to offering the in-person tour. But we just loved the virtual so much, and so many people would sign up for it that we couldn't let that go either. And so we just decided to give the option for both. For a long time, you could come and either tour the shop or you could jump on a call, whichever one worked for your schedule in case you couldn't scoot away and actually come and physically see us. And that was worked for a really long time. And the only reason we're virtual only right now is because we're getting ready to build a new building. So it's a little tough for us to tour people around our shop where we've outgrown the space and we're all squeezed in there. So we're waiting for it to get really big and pretty again, and then we'll invite people back around to tour. All right. So then you've set up your Calendly links, right? They're able to jump in. They can pick the time and dates for you, whether it's, excuse me, that works for them. And whether it's you on the back end or your recruiter, you're going in and just managing how many people you can have in each one of those. For us, we'd like to keep it around 20. And if you have a really large shop and you want to open it up for more people, fantastic. But that was about the most we could handle really walking through our shop at any given time. So, so once they've signed up for this tour, they come. And the beauty of this is that if 20 people show up and, or excuse me, if 20 people sign up and only 10 show up or 5 show up and you go to that front door, there's still somebody there to show around, and there's no wasted effort in the back and forth trying to say what day works for you, what time, all that great stuff like I mentioned earlier is eliminated, and that time suck is gone. So this is the first part of eliminating additional waste. So once they have completed your tour, you can put at the end, even in the virtual or in person, hey, if you're interested and you loved it and this seems like a great place to work, reach out to me and let's move forward from that point. And so what I did want to open up for a second, because I see some people saying, you know, hey, we've used something similar. What if you have at this point is a good point to put in a pre-screening. So if you used Wonderlic, OneScore, DISC, unmute really quickly. Let us know what pre-screening you've used that has worked for you, or put it in the chat so that people can get a couple ideas of some of these like wonderful pre-screening tools. Okay, culture index. Yes, nice. That's a good one.
I
So
was
ours
just
was
gonna say,
Wonderlic. Go ahead. Thank you.
oh, I was just gonna say it wasn't like a pre-screening like quiz, but we recorded like a 5-minute video of like our culture and like our expectations. And we sent it out in a video and said, hey, watch this and like come to us if you have questions. And that kind of screened themselves out if they were like, no, that expectation, I didn't know I would have to get in an attic. No, thank you. So that kind of worked as a screening.
Love that. Thank you, Danielle. Yep, that's another great one. Brittany says DISC. That's a fantastic one, especially for the follow through stuff that DISC has for DISC Workplace and how they work with managers and how they work with peers. So love DISC. Big fan of that one. All right, thank you. So then you move forward into interviewing. So you can see how that works and eliminated a lot of the go-between. Again, and the other key point, let me back up really quickly, that I want to say is when you respond to every single person that has applied for a position on one of those platforms, you then rank higher as a company that you have a high respond rate and a quick respond rate. And so that catapulted us to the top of the list and was giving us, you know, stars and ratings that were like rapid response, high responder, and all because we just every morning for 15 minutes, I sat and just made sure every person got the email. So again, another win. All right, so I'm going to dig into each one of these topics a little further, which is the recruit to reality. So when you have them come in and you're doing this virtual tour, or like Danielle mentioned, you have maybe a recording, fantastic, same thing, presentation when they come on site. So you're building this deck that's going to share your company history. It's going to paint the vision. It's going to showcase the culture. And you're really going to talk about what it means to be part of your company and the expectations that you have for these roles. They're gonna, if they're in person, they get to walk around and see the call center. wave at the people that are working there. Hey, this is where you would sit. This is who you would be working with. This is what it looks like. And they're getting that opportunity to, like I mentioned, vet themselves out. And like Danielle said, wow, this isn't for me. Like, this is not what I was expecting. I was just looking for, some basic plumbing shop that, didn't really care about anything. And I was just going to get away with stuff. Like, nope, not us. We've got expectations. We've got growth. We've got things that we're getting after. And if you're the type of person that wants to get after this growth and fits in with our core values, this is the place for you. And so let them ask questions along the way. Hey, what's that for? And again, the beauty of this is that everybody in every role can come and tour. You just tailor it that it's a company presentation, hit on a couple of your key positions. We would walk through the warehouse. Like I said, we'd walk through the call center. People were curious about the operations. So always allow time to ask questions. And if they have none, just know that you were really thorough and you did a great job. That's my favorite excuse when nobody asks me any questions. I'm like, I was just really, really thorough. All right, so skin in the game. As we mentioned, individuals who have gone the extra step to communicate and explore the company are more likely to attend that next step interview. They've already spent some time, they're already interested, they're intrigued, and so you are more likely to have them then show up to that interview. So they're more invested in this opportunity. They have a clear understanding of the company and its values. What a win, right? We're not looking for less than great. We're not your average plumbing, HVAC. We've got expectation. Our technicians have KPIs. Look at the goals we have. You might be walking around. We're big on the video screens, a lot of screens up, right? And so they're seeing all the numbers up and the technicians having to have their data up live all day long. And they might be like, oh, I don't, that's not for me. But if they don't want to participate, then you've wasted no time on that individual. And individuals who do not meet the standard or agree, again, are ultimately going to vet themselves out. And that's what you want before you've wasted any other time. I mean, I've had people leave in the middle of the tour. Hey, I'm sorry. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. All right, no problem. Thank you. See you later. All right. My favorite topic is write and decides. And I know that this is pretty big in the industry and we've been doing it for a really long time. And again, we've perfected a lot of different facets of the write and decide. So forgive me if this is repeated and information that you're all aware of, but did want to make sure I pointed this out. So write and decides, again, in that area of recruit to reality. This is that working interview for your technician, and you're going to designate a company-centric technician. So who is just like your go-to, right? This guy or lady is always in a great mood, ready, has wonderful reviews, and you're going to recruit them into your HR, team, and they're going to love you because you're going to pay for their lunch all the time. And so they're like, I'm in this for free lunch every day. It's great. Maybe they love company. They can't wait to just have somebody in their truck all day. So you're looking for that person. And you want to stay consistent with who it is because they're going to learn your system and they're going to be familiar with what you're looking for and the feedback that you want when it comes from how the day went. So find 2 or 3 of them that are, your go-tos. So they're going to come in for the day. They're going to sign a waiver. You're going to ask them to wear a basic color polo and a work pant, right? They've got to come looking the part. And then you're going to have them go to 1 or 2 calls. At least the first one, maybe that one was short. They hit a second one. And then you're going to have them go to lunch. And then that way, that individual who's riding along has an ample opportunity to ask questions, feel like, hey, I got to kind of know you and what you were after, the quick questions like, hey, what's time off look like? All they cared about was how to call off. So then you're looking for feedback from your designated ride and decide tech. That's just like, how did it go? Were they friendly? Were they personable? Did they ask good questions? Were they curious about the work? What kind of skill did you, assess why they were, you're not having them do any work, but in general, the guys typically are going to talk about like, oh, this capacitor, that, and they can gauge like, oh, have you worked on these before? And so you're getting a little bit of a skills assessment there as well. You'll see my little asterisk there that is check with your state law. Ours is waiver only. We didn't have to actually pay them. They were signing that I was coming to shadow something. So we weren't required to like pay them for the day to just drive around. We just had them sign a legal waiver saying, I'm here, I'm in this truck. They're not allowed to drive the truck, anything like that. But they were allowed to shadow. Okay, so I want to stop again really quick, and anybody who has been doing Ride and Decides at your company, what are you doing that's amazing? What has worked for you that you can share with the group?
And quick question down in the chat. Do your ride and decides have to be over the age of 18? Do y'all take younger, or do you base it off of your state laws?
So our Ride and Decides are over 18, yes. Once they've graduated, they can come in. We did do, just to elaborate quickly, our school had a program that allowed high school students to come over, but that's because we were affiliated with the state and got signatures from the board, the school board, that they would allow students to come over on like work release and learn the program. So it's a whole nother thing, but you can get involved early. Just do it the right way, go through high school, go through technical careers, and get things signed that you're having them come over to your school to learn the trade. Oh, no, you can't pay for the lunches. Two things. We had one, we did gift cards. We would buy a gift card and we would just give it to the technician. It'd have 20 bucks on it, $25, whatever. The inflation went up. Eventually we ended up switching to a divvy card. And so the divvy card we just knew was for lunches. And so our designated tech just had the divvy lunch card and kind of got passed around. All right, anybody doing the Ride and Decides and you got any great feedback for us? Going once, going twice? All right. Well, perfect it. Absolutely perfect it. Spend time inspecting all of these processes that you're working to put in place. I can't tell you how many times we've reevaluated, adjusted, and made changes. And every time we would look back and ask for feedback and make improvements, it just got better and better. VOC in the Lean Six Sigma world is voice of the customer. Ask for the feedback. Go that extra step and even ask the person that just went on the Ride and Decide. What did it look like? How did it feel like? What was great? Nobody greeted at me at the door. I waited for 30 minutes. Like, wow, why did that happen? How can we fix that? I got stuck on a call all day. That's never great. Oh, so I'm sorry about that. We sold it and it was awesome, but I was there longer than I thought. Figure these things out, get the feedback. Ask about the tour. Hey, what did you love about the tour? Hey, I wish I had learned a little bit more about call center. I loved that I got to see the warehouse, but I wish I also saw this, and just keep adjusting. You want feedback, 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 feedback. Then get involved with your manager. So here's what I'll say. You fast forward, systems in place, everything's running like a top for years. And then all of a sudden, retention in the call center goes down. And you're like, what's going on? And so you go, and I have a meeting with my call center manager, and I'm like, are we still having people do the working interview and come in and shadow? So on the flip side, same as Ride and Decides for technicians, bring that call center person in, because I can guarantee you, we're all familiar with this. Most people, again, do not expect your call center to be what they're getting into, right? There's a lot to learn. Suddenly you're an expert in all types of stuff, literally, the other word, that you didn't know you were going to be an expert in. And you're asked to figure out all types of new software. If you're in the AI realm right now and you've got Broccoli showing up, you've got Service Titan, and they're like, I thought I was just answering the phone and booking a call. Get them in, get them sitting next to your lead CSR, let them see what the work looks like. So again, fast forward, I'm sitting there with my call center manager and I said, are we skipping the step and you're not bringing it? We just got busy. I don't have time. We're not. And I'm like, but we're sitting here having a conversation about your retention and why you're losing people. And fortunately, we have data on when are we losing them within the first 3 days, inside that 90 days, over 90 days. And at that point, we were losing them almost immediately. And that tells you they don't know what they were getting into and they were overwhelmed. They were put through boot camp for call center and were like, whoa, this is not what I thought. And so as soon as we found out that we had moved away from a working system that allowed them to see the role, that's where we were failing again and not having that retention because they didn't understand and they weren't recruited to reality that this is a notch above what you might have originally expected. And then most importantly too, did anyone check in on them? So I'm really big on stay interviews, and that doesn't come from the manager. They're already doing their one-on-ones. They're already talking to them. Who else in your company is checking in? And I know it feels hard when it's an HR department of one, but make that time because all you're doing if you're just re-recruiting and filling the spots in. So make that time to do a 90-day check-in. Ask them, how did onboarding go? What did we miss? What else? What's my favorite question? Actually, I have two favorite questions. I'll share them quickly while I'm on my rant here about stay interviews. What's one thing I can do today that would make your work life experience better? All the answers I got were the simplest things. Like my chair is like kind of crooked. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. We need a replacement chair. Let me get the office manager to order you a new one. Technicians particularly will come in and you ladies probably know this. Yeah, if I could do one of those hats that has like the camouflage on it. Like I saw some other guy with that and like, do you have one of those? And I'm like, sure do. Yeah. If that's what's gonna make your day better today, I've got a hat. You want some extra pants too? Because those ones look a little messed up. Oh yeah, get you an order of a pair of pants. But out of them simple things. Hey, my iPad holder for the truck was broken. Do you have another one? And all of it just they're heard, something got fixed quickly, and you can move on and make those quick improvements. My second question that I love, what skill set do you have that we could be utilizing differently? You will find out so much about your people, and they'll be like, well, even if they tell you personal things, like, oh, here's a good story. So I found out like a while back that somebody was a photographer and did, photography on the side. 2 weekends ago, years later, he's a dispatcher. He just did my son's senior photos. And I was like, hey, are you still doing photography? I'd love to have you, I'll pay you to do my son's senior photos. So even things like that. But anyway, I got one of my recruiters and my HR coordinator out of a call center stay interview that she told me she was in school for human resources. And I was like, oh, I did not even know that. Good for congratulations. And 6 months later, she's in my department. So you just don't know where those are going to take you. So somebody says, can you say that question again? Okay, let's see. So I gave two.
What skill do you have that we could be utilizing differently? I think is possibly.
Okay. Courtney is my best friend right now. She is on top of it and she's like, I got you. Here we go. She's got him in there. Thank you, Courtney.
So another question up earlier, you talked about doing the shadowing and ride and decides. Do you do that with the techs and apprentices also? Like, do y'all have some type of shadowing system for every department or just your technicians and call center?
Technicians, call center, dispatch, apprentices for the school, 100%. They have to come through and ride. There's a whole thing they go through to know what they're getting into for the school. So yeah, great question.
And then Aviva is asking, do you have suggestions for this to be scaled down for a smaller company where the call center is one CSR and one dispatcher? Also struggle to get people to show up for one interview, let alone the tour ride along. We currently do a ride along for the first techs after being hired, but the first 2 to 3 weeks are one of the experienced techs. So some suggestion of how they might could even do this at a little bit smaller of a scale.
Oh, okay, smaller. Let me think on it. How could you go even smaller? That's a good question. So,
And I think sometimes it just takes like kind of biting the bullet. It might seem like we don't have the capacity, like there's no way I could do that. But I think sometimes when you just force yourself to be able to do it, you find the capacity, especially when you can see like the benefits of how it saves you long term. You can make room for it and stuff. But sometimes in it, it may not feel like there's any way of how we could do some of those things.
okay, I can think of a quick example for a smaller situation. So I know they said one call center person, but okay, you have two. You have an office person, you got like maybe two call center, dispatcher, call center. I would allow the call center individual who was interviewing to sit in the call center for a while. We would like walk through and I'd let them sit and they could ask the call center people questions. And so you could even do it like during the tour quickly and allow them the chance to kind of see what's going on, pause there. And then that way, hey, if you're only inviting call center people in, then just say, I have these 5 call center people that are interviewing. I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to let them sit in the call center and talk. My call center people would do a great job of asking them questions. Like call center people are like the most creative minds, right? When it comes to things. And they're like asking them, like, if you were a car part, what car part would you be? You guys want to know what my answer is? I'm the manual. That's what I told them. I'm the manual. I'm the thing that's in the glove box that you consider throwing out sometimes. And then you're like, no, let me dust her off. She's probably got some answers in there. um, but yes, I will think on that and how you could do it even smaller and get back to you guys. All right. So going on the opposite way, I'm sorry, leveling up. I wanted to hit on this topic as people start to grow and expand. And now you have managers that, you're managing managers and you need more of them. What roles are you trying to hire for? Um, who are they? Are they going to be internal? Are they going to be external? Those are a lot of tough choices that need to be made, right? When you're scaling. And so ensure that you're following a good model so that you don't get too heavy in one area, but you're going to see some pain points where that overhead is happening on the internal side, potentially while you're building up this call center to impact and be able to support the flip side for adding extra installers, right? Or a whole maintenance team. But be very intentional about looking ahead and making sure that you're not building your pyramid upside down. Get the support that you need and build that infrastructure so that you have that solid base. I can tell you there's a lot of times at Eco that it felt like we were like this. We were building this giant thing that was happening, and it was just like a ton of us. And people would ask, are you guys a franchise? And we're like, oh, you guys, we see you everywhere. You must be a franchise. And we're like, yeah, no, there's just a couple of us back here just working away at all of it. But again, um, do the work. Emily said it well too. Like, you put that time in, put the time in, do some of the work, do yourself those future favors. Um, so as you start to scale, get strategic about your org chart, how you can structure it. Looking through individuals. I saw somebody mention on the chat that they had somebody who was in accounting and they were able to scoot them over. Yeah, when can you utilize them? When can you cross train? When can you have somebody, they answer the phone, but maybe they're also keeping track of technician time cards. And as you're scaling and building and putting that org chart in place and saying what hats can everybody wear and when can you start breaking them off? And then as you do scale, I want to share this piece of advice that the external hires are not always going to save you. They are amazing and you're going to need them and you're going to find some great people, but you cannot bank solely on, I'm going to find this rock star, this unicorn that's going to come in. And as soon as I can get an operations manager, it's all going to be better, right? You have to be mindful of ruffling the natives, right? And how you introduce people, how they acclimate to your team, especially when you're bringing in higher level positions. Be quick to fire if you've made a wrong decision, if it feels like it's affecting your culture and your people who have been there a really long time and are committed and it's just not working, put that ego aside and be like, I made the wrong hire, I got to move on. um, we do a lot with internal promotions, keeping track of rising stars, individuals that are looking to be moved up inside the company. So, be mindful of that as well. It's never feels good to be overlooked for something. So just really make sure when you have positions opening up for roles that you're doing a good job of putting them out to the team like, hey, we're interviewing for this, and give everybody that opportunity to move up in your company. All right. So I'm happy to answer some questions. We've got about 15 minutes left. She says, say it louder for the people in the back. They won't save you. They won't. They want to come in and change everything, and they want to change things that you're like, but we already figured that out and we know it's great. And stay true. If there's something that made you an amazing company and you wouldn't be where you were and you wouldn't be here today if you weren't a fantastic company, right? And so let them know, hey, you're here to improve us. You're not here to change all the good things that we've already built as an infrastructure. All right, I saw a hand up. Happy to take that question. It was up and then now I don't see it.
I stepped away and I ran back really quick. So, thank you so much. This was amazing. I do have a question that's kind of, relevant, but maybe kind of a spinoff. Is we did engagement meetings and we talked about that we were looking for a new manager for the call center. I was overseeing it, but I wear a lot of hats. And I kind of let the team know, like, hey, we're looking for this so that it wouldn't be a surprise if we found it. If you're interested, let me know. There was one person that was interested, but she's remote part-time, and this position I wanted in the office full-time, so she decided to decline. And then we brought a new person on, and it was like a huge thing. Like, it's like, okay, we knew this was coming. So, do you have any, if you can't find that internal person and you do bring an external person out, especially into a leadership role, how do you feel like it's best to kind of integrate that position so that the other team members feel like it's not just this big change? And because I think it can be hard.
It is very hard. And in particular, did anybody interview on the team other than the one individual, or they all kind of they weren't interested in it? So you weren't fighting against that somebody wanted it and didn't get it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair. So, you absolutely want to start with them shadowing as much as possible and asking questions. Make them learn what makes your call center tick before they come in and do anything else. Sit and ask questions. Ask them to do SWOT analysis with each one of the people. Before they do a single thing, they are to learn what has already been happening. They are to learn the trash, everything you threw out, what went wrong, and they need to sit and ask those people, what can we improve on together? Where are we weak as a team? Where are we strong as a team? They need to collect that feedback. That is my best advice, is to come in with the intent to learn first and guide that dispatch manager or call center manager through that. Do not allow them to just go off the rails and be like, I'm so busy, I just need them so bad, I'm just going to send them in there. And then, they've ticked off your top two people because they've been here forever doing it one way. And so please guide them through an onboarding program that creates that structure of them. They are here to learn first before they change anything.
Love it. Thank you.
Great question. And Felicity's right too. Shadow other departments. So our new one, our onboarding for them is they go through IT, call center, dispatch. They do a ride along with one of the technicians so they see the flip side. So yes, build your onboarding program so that they're shadowing other departments, spend a couple hours with marketing, etc. Love it. Thank you, Felicity.
Awesome. Great questions. Anyone else?
I feel like I feel like this is such an important topic that we don't talk about enough. So I'm so glad that Rosalind spent some time with us here today to kind of walk us through this because yeah, it's hard. We do get in these messes and hiring the wrong person is not going to save us. We try to make shortcuts and it doesn't save us. We just get in a bigger mess. So I appreciate that. I have a question for you. Let's say you're looking for a manager for a specific team and your team knows that, and a lot of them really want the position, but none of them are ready. And so you do start looking external. What are some good talk tracks or good messaging, something so that you don't discourage the team, even though they're not ready, but to keep them engaged, even though a lot of them maybe wanted that position or felt like they were ready for that position?
Yes. So this is great. That's why I asked Renee what position she was in. Did they want it or they didn't want it? Because we've experienced this a lot. And I can tell you the two places you'll find it. One is technicians trying to move into management, right? They think they're ready. The other one is sales. They're all gunning for whatever that next open sales position is, and they think they're ready for it. So you will see it a lot in those two roles. And we interview all of them. It is worth your time to sit with them and talk them through it. Make them come prepared with just as much stuff that you would for the external hire. What would you forecast? They will start to realize that they are not ready. What are your numbers? What are your key performance indicators, right? How would you hold your team responsible? As you start having these conversations with them in the interview, they will start to say, this is an area that I need to improve on. I need to. And the best thing to do is have the conversation with them. Hey, there's always growth. So these are the 3 things I need you to do before we interview again for somebody for sales. And know your budget. I mean, pretty much you should know, like you said, you're looking ahead. There's another one that might open up in 6 months, next year. If you want this spot next year, these are the 3 things I need you to be working on. And I'm going to check in with you and see where you're pacing to do those things. And we can both agree that, we need a little more preparation on management competencies, where I'm going to need you to know your numbers. You got to know your financials to be in this role and encourage them. So that is my best advice, Angie, is do the interviews. Don't even skirt around it. Don't find a way to tell the team nobody's ready. We need this. No, interview every single one of them. Absolutely. Let them have the chance to show. And all you're going to do is build individuals who either say, never mind, I didn't want it, and I'm not going to try harder. Or if you have a lot of individuals who are going to step up their game and start acting like leaders because they want that spot. Now they know what it takes to get to it. We had a stiff competition in our sales. Always interviewing for those sales positions was always like, oh man, they wanted it. So that was a tough conversation. So thank you for that question. That's a good one.
Oh,
Great
it's a
question.
great answer. Thank you.
Roslyn, with our last few minutes, could you elaborate a little bit more on y'all's Eco University? How did y'all get it up and going? How do you recruit people to come to it? What is your goals with them afterwards? Courtney's asking, and that was going to be my question as well, too, if you could elaborate on that a little bit more.
All right. Yeah, you're going to put my feet to the fire on this one with only 7 minutes. And this is
I know we could have a whole other session about it, but maybe some high level.
My absolute favorite topic. So to be candid, so I'll tell you how we got a school started. My brother is an I and I'm a D and he's an ID and I'm a CD, all that good stuff, right? And so Aaron's visionary, I'm an integrator. Aaron goes, we need a school. Here's the building and I need it by December. That's when the first class is going to start and I want 20 people in it. And I'm like, aye, Captain. I'm right on top of it, Rose. And I'm like, gotta get to it. This is what he wants. I'm going to figure it out. And that's kind of how he and I have functioned for a lot of this venture together. And so we got to work on exploring whether we would use Next Tech through Nexstar, their online program, and we did, and we started bringing in and building a platform and having a space. So if you have a little nook in your warehouse that you can put in a little tiny, water heater or an HVAC unit or anything like that, do not shy away from the fact that you need a whole space or a whole building. Anything you can tuck into a corner. That's how we had training labs in the very beginning, was just a little spot that they would use and work on something on downtime. So get that going, figure out whether you want an online program in conjunction with your school, figure out who your teachers are, because there's a lot of technicians that are really good at what they do, but they cannot teach it and they don't want to teach it and they don't want anybody near their stuff. And then you have the ones that are so happy to give back and teach. So find your teacher. And then we had two. We had somebody in the lab, and then we had somebody who was facilitating the classwork and then keeping track of like the administrative side and making sure students were there and all that good stuff, and like kind of towing the line for it to be an actual university type program. And then we built our structure out to where we did 20 students in our first class. It was a lot, but we made it work. And 10 of them were in the lab at any given time, and then 10 of them were in the classroom. And that worked well for a really long time. And then we would switch them out and they would go to writing sites. There's a whole program. I could talk about it forever. Eventually, with our VOCs, the voice of the customer, and asking the students over and over and over again, what's working, what's not working, what's working, what's not working, what do you think about the lab, and collecting all this great feedback, we would constantly pivot and make changes. So in 2023, we had an initiative called EcoU Reimagined, and we revamped almost the entirety of the program into this really cool 6 weeks in each section. And so we could hire every 6 weeks instead of every 18 weeks. It's pretty badass. So if you want to invite me back to talk about how that works, if you're doing a school and you're like, how do you even do this? I would love to talk about how the 6-week functionality of it made us recruit so well. We overstaffed and we actually had to, turn off the school for a little while because we didn't have enough calls for all the students that we were graduating when we switched to this 6-week model. And it was great. There's another individual that's on this call, Danielle, who chimed up earlier. Her and I were building schools at the same time in her previous life. And she's going to have a lot of great information. So I feel like her and I could co-chit chat.
All right, we'll write that down. Yeah, it would be a fantastic session. And I see several people mentioning that would be very interesting to love and talk about. And so, yeah, we've helped clients launch some of those schools as well too. And yeah, I think there's tons of great ideas from logistics, but also from a branding standpoint and culture standpoint and stuff. And so, yeah, we'll definitely keep that around. Well, Roslyn, thank you so much for this fantastic information, but also just new thought perspectives and different ways to kind of think of these things. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you or connect with you, what is the best way that they could go about doing that?
Yeah, so scan the QR right there on the screen, the Q&A, and it gives you all my information that you can reach out to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was a fantastic session. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Zyra Talk for being a fantastic sponsor of Lady Titans for help us to further our mission to bring great speakers like Roslyn today. And so I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. We will send out an email with a recap of this recording and Roslyn's notes and her presentation. And do not hesitate to reach out to her. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you, ladies, for joining us for another fantastic Spotlight series. And we will see you next month. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ladies.